as the intro, I had a really good joke about how this comic was basically John Pork.
Mm-hmm.
The comic book. But I don't think I've dated myself as a millennial yet, and I didn't want to let people know.
John Pork's pretty. I don't know. I feel like John Pork's pretty with the time. That's I feel like the cool kids still like John Pork.
He's vintage. Well, if you like John Pork, you're in the right place today, boys and girls.
Welcome to another episode of Tales from the Gutters, a show where two completely brainwashed comic fans regurgitate lukewarm takes force-fed to us by oppressive comics and the fascist authoritarians that make them. I'm Ethan, and I've never had an original thought in my life because I was educated in a public school.
I'm Isaac, and 12 years of Christian homeschool. Taking that again. I'm Isaac. I know my name. And 12 years of Christian homeschooling can't help but make me wonder why our protagonist of the story today couldn't just pull himself up by his bootstraps.
Today we are covering an Orwellian anthropomorphic nightmare. Not that one. Oink, Heaven's Butcher, written and painted by John Mueller. Oink, Heaven's Butcher was originally published by Kitchen Sink Press in 1995, and in 2015, Heaven's Butcher got a remaster/remake by Mueller and published by Dark Horse. So this comic, I feel like this is our first big alt comic one, I guess. Black Mask is like its own indie studio thing, but the other stuff we've covered before, I think, is mostly just mainstream offshoots. And Kitchen Sink kind of comes from this other flip side of comics. So we're finally touching tips with the weirder and more subversive side of the comic industry. Kitchen Sink is a publisher which I'd consider part of the more underground or alternative side of comic publishing. If we're talking movie studios, discounting the limiting monopolies, Marvel and DC are Disney, Fox, WB, right? And Image, Dark Horse, IDW, I'd put somewhere like a Miramax or Fantagraphics in the vein of A24. And then Kitchen Sink is Troma or John Waters' Dreamland Productions, where the truly weird and out there shit lives. So this is kind of a good lead-in to our next month, where we're gonna be highlighting some more alternative underground comics with our Fantagraphics series. We're gonna kick it off next month. But the story of Kitchen Sink, like other media companies, of course, includes the part where they try to sell out and they immediately go under.
Yeah.
For this episode, I think it's important to kind of address the long history of comics involvement in revolutionary ideals and resistance in general. It's impossible to talk about the history of comics without mentioning the large number of Jewish creators that built the American comic industry during World War II. And comics have always existed at the intersection of outsider art and mainstream media. So cheap and quote-unquote disposable comics placed as a less-than art form has always helped it proliferate ideas, for better or worse. I'm looking at you, foreskin man.
Can't look away.
From the X-Men as allegories for the marginalized to the more literal and recent anti-authoritarian themes and stuff like Absolute Superman and the Ultimates, more often than not, creators position their heroes in opposition to fascism and oppressive institutions. While the industry and fandom as a whole aren't totally devoid of bootlicking assholes who somehow learn the exact opposite lesson from what the spirit of the works intended, comics generally are and should be a platform for and by and the underrepresented and disenfranchised. So let's take a look at another book by a cishet white guy from a Western country.
This is the last one. We promise.
Wait, it's not.
Wait, no.
You can't say it. Don't make it promise.
Coming soon. It will be. It will be soon. Okay. John Mueller, the aforementioned cishet. Oh, okay. I should know that. White guy from a Western country. We're gonna jump way to the end of his career. We really like this comic. We'll talk about how great the art is. But when doing research for him and kind of like following the track of his career, skipping to the end point, something very, very cool about him. John Mueller is currently the art director of Diablo, like the game Diablo. He was the art director for Diablo 3 and is still working there as Diablo 4 art director. You can see a lot of the concept images, a lot of the art that he put in here, similar influences. It's about the best thing you can wish for someone like this.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about this more later. This is like a little museum piece / comic book. Each single panel is hand drawn, and he does from the very beginning lean more into the art side of like comic crafting, and so to know that he ended up in a place like that is very, very cool. I think well deserved. Oink premise, the comic itself that we're going to talk about today. Imagine, if you will, what if we lived in a society, and in that society, men were actually pigs. Also, there are regular pigs. But what if the pigs were eating the pigs? But also, there were regular guys and they ate the pigs too. So now you've got pigs, pig guys, and regular guys. There's an old lady named Mary. They live in a scary city. But what if actually the scary city was called heaven? Do you see where I'm going with this? Are you tracking the allegory? If not, get ready to enter the dark and twisted mind of John Mueller as we sink our snouts into the gorgeous allegorical chop suey of Oink, Heaven's Butcher.
Yeah, so the way that we're going to be looking at this especially is going to be like the themes about like resistance, kind of a good like pairing with God Killer, very punk rock attitude. This takes more of like a Orwellian approach. Mueller calls this an Orwellian fantasy about public education. And we talk a lot about the creator's message and how well it's executed in comic form. And these books are a great example of a very clear vision from the writer / artist. It's inspired by 1984 and Animal Farm. These books put a very comic booky, action-focused, sci-fi post-apocalyptic spin on Orwell, where Animal Farm used the allegory of farm animals to comment on the perversion of a communist revolution by the power-hungry. Oink positions its main protag as like just a revolutionary hero fighting the industrial institution that rules this world. So we trade a lot of the internal struggle and ideological debates for hyperviolence and a profound lack of mercy as Oink absolutely mangles all the bad guys he comes across.
It's kind of it's Neo wakes up in Animal Farm a little bit.
Yeah, very much so. There's a lot of stuff here too. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get to it, where I'm like, wait, when did this come out? Because it is very Neo at certain points. A couple more quotes from Mueller. So I guess he wrote this when he was 20 years old. He says, quote, "I was poorly educated, so the character really reflects my own experience."
More self-awareness than most of the comic guys we've talked about
Good
so
for
far.
Him. He said he was branded as below average in every regard as a student pretty much as long as he can recall. He carried that with him as a young guy, and he just really didn't have a very high opinion of himself. What a fucked up way to start life, he says. It's only because of my art teacher, my mother, and a few key allies that got me out of my small town and into an art school where I thrive for the first time in my life. And throughout the book, we'll kind of shout out, he even makes it a point. He has a blog when this got re-released, and he like takes the time to like shout out the people in the story that are like representative of like a lot of the people that like helped him out through his career and stuff. But yeah, this is all about like school, public education. He says that the schools that we go to don't teach us how to enhance our natural gifts at all. They just force us down the chute to be slaughtered. Seek truth is what I say, and what's important is the seeking part, because nobody can tell your truth. We all have to find it for ourselves. So
C's make degrees, the comic book.
Yes. This is a one in many, I feel like, disaffected young man.
Yeah.
In comic
Oh,
books,
no.
I feel
Oh, no.
like I will get into it a lot too. I feel like the theme of this year is gonna be a lot of like disaffected, like counterculture young men and women
Yeah.
too. We got some women on the docket.
We wrote all that stuff for the intro. We'd started the script a while ago. It took us a while to get into it, but even it's the beginning of 2026 when we're recording this, and even the beginning was less funny than it was. It wasn't funny then. It's just worse now.
So let's switch gears a little bit and then let's talk a little bit about the art, because this is one of like I feel like best art wise. This is maybe like Ted McKeever. Two very different styles, but also in the same kind of, they have this grittiness and like painterly background to it. So.
We talked a lot, and we keep coming back to him. We talked about Ted McKeever's, like, his motivation and what it took for him to, to paint all that panels and stuff like that. But this guy, his motivation was like he needed to tell this story. Like Ethan said before, there's so many characters in here that have a specific real life counterpart. This was something that he needed to put out.
It's the only comic he's ever done too.
Right?
This was a passion project.
It's an art portfolio in a comic form, I would say. Yeah. So the art is the best part. The man paints every single panel. My function in this podcast is that I know less about comic books, so God knows I know even less about art. So I'm going to say some painting art things, and please comment if I get anything wrong. Please let me know. I'd love to hear it. I would say he is a sci-fi fantasy painter at the end of the day, in the sense that the mood is dark and the characters are exaggerated and expressive. Think of a character being attacked in a dark alley, him and his attackers being lit only by a flaming gun barrel. He loves using big, broad strokes with impressionistic flourishes. Oink, that is our hero, will hit someone over the head with a piece of lumber. And in the explosion of black-green, John makes no distinction between bits of gore and random paint flecks. The speech bubbles are big circles of white paint he smeared over the comic itself. It looks gnarly. It looks great. Occasionally, he'll cover space quickly using a two-tone panel, but just as often, he'll drop everything to create an incredible romantic-style tableau. Comics are all about freezing your characters at the right moment in time, and John excels at picking up moments of action and turning them into absolute visual feast. Near the end of chapter 1, Oink breaks through a high-rise wall, and we go from copper brown we've spent most of the comic with to this single page of smog illuminated by a completely new ghostly blue-green, steeples and smokestacks in the background. The wood and the debris surrounding him screams force, and for the 300th time, your eyes are drawn to the visual center of the entire image, Oink's big-ass arms. He's a painter more than a comic book artist, and some people complain about him not quite figuring out how to sequence his panels, to which I say, I've read worse.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it like as it comes up too. I've like pulled some like screenshots of like the old the first release when they were first publishing it, and we can kind of compare. But I think he's always had like a really cool style, even originally. I would like, again, comparing him to somebody like McKeever or Sienkiewicz, where it's like a lot of like inky, scratchy stuff with like really nice like oil painting, I guess. In the 2015 re-release, he definitely uses more like digital tools and stuff. But like his art style really does remind me of like OG D&D art, or like Magic the Gathering art, or like Frazetta, if people are like familiar with him, like that Conan the Barbarian kind of like vibe. And it's a lot grittier in the old stuff, but like in the new stuff, you can definitely see like, oh, this is why this guy got a fucking job, like in video game art. Like that's where he lives for sure.
I mean, the old one's great too. The new one is objectively so much better, but it also just speaks to, clearly he has a ton of passion for this project, because there was already something he had created, and he said, let me sink another 4,000 plus hours into redoing the entire thing.
All right, so let's get into it. So Heaven's Butcher is the first arc. 4 issues?
4 issues in the first arc, and there is a second arc, and then
The sequel is called Blood and Circus.
Blood and Circus, yeah.
We can talk about that a little bit afterwards. But that one is very, very different than this one.
Yeah.
But because this one is very like diesel punk industrial city.
Yeah.
Like it's like Wolfenstein vibes, like type of shit. And what got me off, I think when I first saw like pictures of this, or like when I first heard about this, it was definitely like the art stood out to me the most. For sure, the cover on the Dark Horse re-release is just fucking Oink, this pig man behind like this prison wall, this big industrial metal riveted thing with like Oink riveted all up on the top of it. And then in the old the first publication, the cover for the first issue is really cool too. It's just like Oink in the foreground with a bunch of like, it's like gothic, right? It's like all this like gothic sketchy architecture in the background, and like already just like they get like it's just a fucking pig guy and a wife beater, and then it's just like, how could you not want to check this out? And then Oink is all like fucking, it looks like it's written in blood. And super cool. Like just like off rip, looking at it, you can tell like what this is. Just the vibe, the whole like industrial diesel punk, like it screams like fucking Orwell and like sci-fi right off rip.
Preview pages are him like jumping through a wall. He jumps through a lot of walls. This time he's got a machete in one hand and a flintlock pistol. That's a cool image by itself, but also it's hand drawn. It just looks amazing. There's this weird fucking fascist parade with a big pig float in the next page. We don't even see that in the comic book. The guy has been drawing pigs, and we'll talk about it later, the angels, up until this very day. Like his Instagram, he just loves coming back to these motifs. So it doesn't even happen in the comic, but it's a cool evil looking brass band. Very cool way to start it. And then you also get to see him shooting the hell out of someone's head panel after that before you even get started.
And so I think one of the first main images we see is like the exterior of the slaughterhouse, which, like, again, much like Godkiller, this is not a very subtle comic book, but I think that works to like it works to its benefit because it is very on the nose with everything. It's literally a slaughterhouse that used to be a public school. There's like a fucked up sign of like PS or whatever. Now it's public slaughterhouse 628. And then we cut to, this is kind of like a flash forward.
It's the framing device.
Yeah, the framing device is we open up on this giant tower of like cells in the middle of this prison. I think this is where the comic got me too. Like this first real panel when we see two characters. There's a guy that's like a friar who's got a book, and then this little Danny DeVito looking guy next to him with, I don't even understand, like his hands are gone and he has these little like needle fingers that he uses to type on like a typewriter that's attached to him, and he's got like a roll of fucking paper,
like a toilet paper roll coming from his chest that feeds into it.
Yeah, so he's like created to be like a stenographer. And
what if he was like dark and fucked up, though?
Yeah. And they are going to talk to Oink, who is in this prison, and he is giving his like last confession. And like the opening kind of narration is Oink sitting in his cell. Like,
you can tell it's Oink because Oink has a very specific way of speaking. Maybe there's narration damn near half of it. So just to give you a little bit of flavor of what kind of is going in the background the whole time. First panel, when you're looking down that like huge, crazy, never-ending floors on floors of cells. Things are put in holes to be forgotten. The deeper the hole, the darker the truth. Until one day, they realize the hole be not deep enough. So they dig up to look at the remains, to see if the truth survived being buried, before they destroy it forever and write the truth that suits their purposes. Washing da blood from da walls, they have no trace of truth. I have been a prisoner here far too long. The order for my execution be welcome.
It's so funny you read it that way because like the way it's written is like that. It's like the whole like it's like how you read the Thing's voice in like Fantastic Four comics, but like could easily be Jamaican.
It's
at the
hard
same
not
time.
to hear a little bit.
I
of
don't
the
know
da.
if this is like a East Coast like fucking Brooklyn accent or like a British like accent or
Washing the blood from the walls.
Yeah,
He's from a small town, guys.
Yeah, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but yeah, like also this first like page too, when we get to see Oink, he's big.
Yeah, they open the cell door and he's a big chunky boy. I think he put on some prison pounds for sure.
Yeah, he's just a huge pig man. Like if you can imagine just like an anthropomorphic pig man.
Yeah.
In the OG pages, he is a lot gnarlier looking.
Yeah. He's like in this one he's just like a big ass dude. He's got a pig's head, but it's also like you said, halfway kind of human looking. The expressions are really, really good. All of the pigmen have, even while they are kind of like these animal hybrids, like just a ton of expression on their faces. It looks really nice.
Yeah, really, really good. And so Oink is giving his kind of like confession to this like friar guy, and he tells him that when he was young, he dreamt of a place that was beautiful and terrible, and they called it heaven. And that's kind of the cold open to the first chapter, this first issue called Awakenings, right? So here we get like our first kind of like establishing shot of the world that's like part of like the actual issue, like that's not just like extra material up at the front, and it's this just totally the entire city or the world just looks like a factory. It is very kind of like I don't know, like World War II era-esque, right?
It looks like the Blitz is going to happen at any second.
Yeah.
Or has already happened.
Exactly. And then we get more narration as we enter the like public school, now public slaughterhouse, for the first time.
And this whole comic makes so much more sense when you have that framing of like it being about being frustrated with public education.
Yeah.
You can just as easily like picture him just being on the bus to fucking school and looking out the window and saying the same shit.
Exactly. So Oink lives in this public school turned slaughterhouse, PS 628, which is run by like a warden, principal / cardinal religious zealot, and his like team of Nazi Catholic school themed administration. Yeah,
the power structure is it's this obviously like fascist regime that's also like what do you call it, theological, what do you call that, theism, what the fuck, when you gotta whatever we don't
theocratic
want. Yeah the thing that's happening,
theocracy.
Big red banners coming down on the side. The emblem of the government is a cog, like we said. He's not trying to be subtle, guys. He's not even trying.
Kind of like the setup too of the organizational structure is that you see them like all these pig men are in this like, it's like a prison cafeteria basically. All the guards have like gas masks and like the fucking helmets, and then they have like welded halos above their head.
That's another image that he keeps drawing that he really, really likes, and it looks pretty cool. It's World War II era, like trench coats and these like big metal bucket hats. Maybe that's not the right word. And then on the back of all of them is a metal spike that goes up and a metal ring around it. So it's a halo, but it's also like very like intimidating at the same time. It looks really cool.
And all the pig men are eating lunch or whatever next to kind of like a corral of pigs eating like slop right next to them. There's like actual pigs and then the pig men. And they're all eating lunch together with the kind of guards like watching over them. Right.
Also, a line of just real pigs watching them eat.
Yeah. There's pigs, pigmen, and then Oink is close with one of the older pigs. This is kind of like a flashback to Oink as kind
As
of
a child.
Yeah, he's like younger, and
Squeaker.
he's asking Spigot why the men with the faces watch us all the time.
Why do we eat the piggies?
Why?
Aren't we pigs too?
Wow. He's like what, like 11 or 12? I think it's funny that it took him that long to like have an existential. He's like, wait a second.
They're watching them eat. Yeah.
And one of the kind of like priest, cardinal, overseer guys comes and like hassles him, and he throws Oink into this pit of dead pig carcasses for like asking questions.
Go find your answers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have another quote from Mueller where he talks about how the pit still kind of gets to him. He says, I was in that pit when I was 7, I think, for the first time. But I had a number of occasions where someone put me back in it for dreaming or for not conforming to a system I disagreed with. Which, like, again, very clear metaphors, especially, like, in the context of, like, him, like, talking about it, too. But it is very kind of, like, straightforward.
It's a strong case, too. At least wait until your kid is at least 14 years old before putting them in the pit of dark ignorance. This is too young for it.
Yeah. And then later on, during one of their, I guess, sermons or whatever, what can you want to describe this scene?
They're sitting in a church setup, a cog chained to the walls, like backlit by the light. The priest guy, you know how like priests have the little I didn't even notice this when we read this before. They've got those little white collars. This one, there's a break in it, so the front of it looks like a regular like priest collar, but then there's another white piece, and then another break, and then another white piece. It wraps all the way around, so there's like a cog around his neck. Pretty crazy. Look at that. He's just preaching some bullshit up there. You are dumb of mind, but you are strong of body. You were born to serve. But not everyone agrees. It'd be like any other day until it wasn't. And suddenly I awoke from a deep sleep that be my life. Enter Mr. Spigot.
Yeah, and so Spigot stands up in a very like Major from Animal Farm kind of way. He becomes like the martyr of this story, and he stands up and he says, as you lie to us, look at me and see that I am no longer blind to your lies. And he says, today I am a free animal. You are corrupt and evil. And he goes to fucking try and like take out one of the guys. He stabs one of the like. You are corrupt and evil. Yeah, he stabs one of the gas mask guys and with like a fucking like wine cork shiv. Yeah, gets him right through the head. Stuck. Yeah. Stuck. Mueller said about Spigot that Spigot wasn't really a particular. There was no like one-to-one person in his like life that this character was like representative of. But he said that he grew up with like a really high number of deaths amongst the student body at his school.
It shows.
Yeah. He said most of them were alcohol-related car wrecks.
What the fuck?
But there was like a weirdly high number. So this was kind of like, Spigot kind of represented just kind of like so many people that like held promise that were cut, quote unquote, cut down mentally by the system.
I had pictured this as like a kid who wore like an AC/DC shirt to picture day, and he was like, fuck yeah. But no, small towns are crazy, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I will shout out to the scene in the original like printing of this is really cool. I understand why he cleaned it up, but like the original scene was like very colorful and like had some really cool blocking in it. Spigot's a lot grosser looking. Everybody's a lot grosser looking in the old one, but it still holds up really good in this new one too. But eventually they take down Spigot, right? Spigot's on the ground.
They get another pig. He has to be the one to kill him because he's like stepped out of line. But then he doesn't. He doesn't kill him because we need a martyr scene. No, he's dead. He does die here. So yeah.
Yeah. So one of the other pigs,
right?
Like kills him.
They just hang him up later. Priest goes off to talk to Oink. Oh, I know you were close. You must beware of useless questions. He's getting all in his face.
Yeah. I will say, too, like, this, he cleaned this up and redid this, but it's, like, there are some still, like, sequences. Like, even this, like, some criticism has been that, like, he's not very good at storytelling or whatever. It's a little kind of all over the place with the timing. But, like, this is, like, because this scene happens, like, years after the pit scene.
Yeah,
it's like, now he's all
he's a
grown
big boy.
up already. But then, like, again, like, here, it's just, like, another thing where he, like, kind of cuts scenes in weird places. But I think it's still readable. Like, you still get what's going on.
The next thing we see, he's Oink is out here like thinking hard about what just happened. Oink's job is to stand in front of a bunch of pigs that are getting green fluids like pumped into them. I don't know. After reading God Killer, like I would say something and be like, oh, I'm not really sure what like the plot is here. Like, what are all these little elements? But this is fine. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is a fucked up factory. Like, this is a much like tighter, more pointed story. Yeah, it's fine. They're just pumping these motherfuckers full of green fluids. And his job is to just sit there and look at them happen. So he's kind of sitting there. Oh, Spigot wanted to be free. What is freedom?
And then we get this really cool kind of like Oink goes to work and then he goes home and then we get this cool like dream sequence.
He's in a dream. He's in the middle of a field and he sees the tree from Elden Ring, basically, off in the distance. There's a bunch of like guys there and he's like, Spigot, you're here. And there's like these silhouettes. Ah, yes, we are free. But you are not free. He's like, no, I be worthy. He's, away with you, pale beast. You are not one of us. So here in like the afterlife or whatever, they've become men again. He tries to leap over a big crack in the earth, and then he can't quite reach them. He's not free enough, and you can see really cool. There's like roots coming from this hole, and also cogs starting to spill out of it, and he falls into this incredible painted whirlwind of like red splashes and cogs. He's falling in the top half of the image, and in the bottom image, it's him like waking up in bed. No, it's very cool.
Yeah, and then when after this, he goes and he has to go to the crucifixion of Spigot. Like,
the crucifixion of Spigot. Rejoice in his freedom. Yeah. So everyone is there, fascist up. Oh, he's been saved.
They put him up, chain him up on like this big like cog. In the original printing, it was more of a crucifix, but in the repaint or whatever, the remaster, it's like just a straight cog. And I will say too, in the older one, Spigot's a lot more naked and a lot more jacked in it.
I miss that.
But
he's got a cool he's blue collar in this one. He's got a blue collar shirt on. So he's had enough. After that, he's been awakened. It be time. The butcher be waiting. So he's ready to leave the Matrix. He's looking one of these pigs at his job in the eye. The thing is leaking green fluid from every orifice in its face. Looks so sad. So he's taking the guy on a walk. Big angry expression on his face. I was born to serve as a cog in a machine, a terrible and awful machine. A guy stops him in the hallway. What are you doing? You're late. You better have a good reason. And then he had gassed himself up. He had that angry expression. And he goes, I was late. I was late because the guy's, load that sow boy. That sow boy. That's a good piggy. Oink has had enough. Very first, well, I guess we saw Spigot before, but very first act of violence that Oink gets out, punches this guy in the face, and at the end of his hand, it's a cool motion blur. Like he's got like 3 fists at the tip. And he just knocks this guy's jaw off. Tell me, why did you make things this way? Tell me. The guy looks up, broken teeth. You ask me why things are this way. Because we own you. And he gets an axe to the stomach.
It's cool, worth noting too, in the original one, he says, because we can. And also the butcher looks like he's got crazy hair. He's got crazier hair than this. In the new one, he just has like the long, like fucking male pattern baldness with like the long in the back red hair. But in the old one, like he has crazy... Looks like the Violator kind of.
I was gonna say it looks like Todd McFarlane shit.
Yeah, And about this character too, the butcher.
Is his math teacher? Yeah.
No, this Mueller says the butcher in the story was my dad.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
That's crazy too. Like imagine also like if you like made up with your parent after this, but then like it's just like he says. I think a lot of young guys, I clashed with my dad at that all important age of 17. We fought over everything, especially the idea of me going to art school, the idea of me leaving my small town. The fight in the book with this character was about overcoming my father's vision for my life and striking out on my own, regardless of his warnings and expectations. Right? Hopefully he didn't actually fucking slice his dad in the stomach with a fucking axe.
Yeah, he matured into because we own you. When he was young, it was because we can, but he's gotten older and wiser. He blows up. He goes into the boiler room. He breaks shit. Crashes out of the wall. That was that panel I was talking about before with the new green light that we haven't seen before. He's escaping now. Falls into the ground, stumbles up, and he is outside of the workhouse. It's blown up, and all the pigs are burning, and so is the priest. The priest on fire it looks like a Judas Priest album cover. It looks very fucking cool.
Yeah, this whole sequence is like very like metal because like he just goes through like the facility, like tearing out like electrical wires and shit like that, opening up like gas lines, busting out, and then the whole thing goes up in flames, and we get cuts up the pigs burning, a spigot on his crucifix burning now, and that's how we end the first issue.
That's how you leave your small town. Yeah. There's no other way.
So the second chapter is called Lies, right?
It's not subtle. We told you.
What is this cover?
This chapter? I think okay, we weren't sure before. The top is very cool. It's this kind of expressionistic, three monkeys, see no evil, blah blah blah. The bottom, I think that's like a book with a nail through it. I think that's what that is.
Maybe this is like their like religious.
Textbook. Yeah. Put the Bible on the wall. So now we're outside. Should we have known this by now? The city outside of the work camps or whatever. It's called Heaven. Mm-hmm. So now we actually get to see Heaven. Heaven, the paradise where angels dwell. Not so much at the beginning of the comic, but starting now. To anyone who's ever played Dishonored, the video game, that one also had a lot of big paint, concept art looking flourishes all the time. And it looks a little similar to that. Everyone looks like the meanest Brits you've ever seen in your entire life.
Which is weird, too, because isn't this guy American?
Yeah,
for sure. It just has a very, like, British... Well, maybe it's just the Orwell aesthetic, you know?
I think this is the only... place I feel safe profiling. Those are British men. Look at the jawline. All right. This is the Church of the Cog. Enter the angels. Working class muscle bound pigmen beating fascists to death with a wrench is cool and all. Cannot overstate how visually compelling the angels are. The two images of pigmen stomping the system and these angel guys have been bouncing around his head to this day, and he is still putting out images of them 30 years later. Can you talk about what these guys look like?
Yeah, so we have like the main guards, like these are like kind of the tiers of the people, right? We have the main guard guys, the gas mask dudes with like the Nazi helmets and the halos. Then we also have like the priest guys. And then we have this is their A-team, their Suicide Squad, and they're these like fucking, they look a lot like Deathlock from like zombie robot kind of dudes. Like half of them like have like masks sewn to their faces or like skin like stapled. They're all stitched up, but they also have these glowing halos.
Yeah, they've got like a golden version of it. They're almost Hellraiser, but then it does go a little bit further off into like an X-Men villain.
Yeah, and you have your basic team makeup. The leader is called Judas, right? And then we have
no payoff.
Yeah,
must have already happened.
he's got like this, and then there's like the silent one who has like a mask all over his face, and there's a big one, there's a heavy, and then there's like the second in command with a red scarf, so that you can delineate him from the other one. And about these guys,
they do look the same.
Yeah. Mueller says that Judas and his gang were the collective bullies who preyed on the weak, and that the villain Bakar, who we meet in this next scene, who's like the main cardinal or like pope, I guess.
Bakar the Bakar.
Yeah, the vicar. Mueller says this was his guidance counselor.
God damn it, dude. God damn it.
He's like, fuck you, and fuck you. He said his counselor told him that he could never survive as an artist, and she showed him charts and graphs that were meant to prove that being an artist would be his undoing. Which is like,
oh my god.
Honestly, I'd much prefer like one of those like inept or like not like low effort kind of guidance counselor.
Yeah,
like this seems like a lot of effort to kind of be a dick.
Did you
like,
print off graphs?
Yeah.
It's like just years later looking back, and he's like, well, I've drawn you as the evil vicar, so your argument is invalid, and I'm the chud pig man.
Well, I do like the big like splash page that we get of the cardinal, right, with the angels behind
looking
him.
off, plotting in the distance, and then the angels framed very cool in the background.
Yeah, and he's like, go get me, Oink.
We said how it's kind of like the Matrix, and I think this is his eyes opening arc. We've seen that he wants to fight the system. He's blown up the workhouse. He killed the guard. But he's still a slave in his mind, right? He thinks that this is heaven. He's looking around. He's escaped from the depth of hell to find out that heaven is what people from my hometown think that downtown Chicago looks like. So he's just in an alley. He's just like got this big hood over him, and he wants to I don't know, find like angels or something. I think he's got a weird idea about like, oh, they'll accept him or something. He just needed to escape.
Yeah, and this is another thing. This is the same as like God Killer.
It's the exact same. I was just thinking
where
that.
the main character breaks out of their like oppressive like system. Same thing too with God Killer, because it's like a school hospital. This is just like the slaughterhouse like school thing or whatever. And like he breaks out and then immediately gets attacked. He's like, oh wow, I'm finally free from this like system. And then
Wrench
he goes
to
out
head.
to like the main. He's like, oh wow, like it is like just a fucking wasteland out here. Yeah. So and I do like the sequence too, where he fights this Ravager.
Same guy from God Killer. Hits him with a wrench. He wants the reward. The page where he fights back, he's got big fucking arm holding an axe. The other arm is reaching up to grab his neck. He's got this facial expression. You can hear like a pig squeal. You can like hear it.
So dope. I really like the action's really cool. Hyper violent. There's this blood splatter. I like the page a lot where he like the guy shoots him and it's like blood splatter like goes across the page. Yeah.
He just had a like ton of fun with like the red paint on the bottom of this one. Yeah. It kind of there's more red paint where there's blood, but it's also just kind of rising up from the ground. Yeah, very expressive.
His stuff is like very moody and like it's very like it's easy to get like sucked in.
Yeah, the palette for heaven, if you couldn't get it from everything we said so far, it's just gray blue. So the prison was that tan, and now that he's just in this in between stage, it's kind of like very muted except for the blood during this fight.
Yeah, it's very like foggy too, which also makes it feel like British or something like that. But yeah, so it turns out that he had a tracker in his neck, and after he like takes out this like vagrant or whatever, the angels roll up on him. Another sick panel where they're at like the end of the alley, like half covered in smog, and like Oink's there with his fucking axe.
Flaming fog, like kind of like coming up there. The guy who's trying to get the bounty. Angels of mercy, we're both dead now, Piggy. Run! One of the other angels immediately puts a crossbow bolt through his head. Oink crashes through another wall. He's trying to get the fuck out of there. Cool.
Through walls.
It's his best move. There's a overhead shot, very cinematic. You can see the guys trying to track him down, going up the stairs. Some of them you can only see from the halo above their head. Someone's looking at the tracker while they do it. Like you do kind of get this like Black Ops feel to
it's
it.
like a sick like top down shot like in the stairwell. It reminds me of like Raid a little bit, you know, or like the Raid, or like just like this is also very like Die Hard, you know what I mean? Because he's literally like in this like now like empty apartment building, him in this fucking white tank top fighting all these dudes.
Oink's getting over his public school training. He can hear the voice of the warden in his head screaming that the angels cannot be killed and they're immortal. I say it be lie. Kicks down the door and then shotgun blasts this guy in the face. Goliath, we need you. Goliath is the big guy with the deathlock jaw. Come to Goliath, boy. And they have a little square off on the stairwell. Oink runs out the window.
Yeah. Again.
He jumped away and he broke through the wall, didn't he?
Yeah, he broke through the wall and then he falls into like this like river or like this little levee kind of thing that's going through the city, and he gets sucked down into the sewers, right? And he wakes up and we meet the only two, I guess, like good characters in this.
Yeah, they're trying their best. Yeah. This is the crucial moment in his hero's journey. Fully disillusioned, he is finally led to understand a deep truth about the world. He's Sasuke. He just killed Itachi. He's ready. Wakes up in kind of this like bunker place. What's that guy's name?
Mary and Herbert.
Herbert.
Right? Yeah.
Herbert kind of looks like the stenographer. He's also got his lips stitched up, but he's also a big boy. He's huge.
He looks like a overweight Frankenstein, like a big Frankenstein.
He looks like one of the background guys in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So Mary has taken care of, like, they've taken out the tracker out of Oink's head, right? And Mary is like, Mary's got her eyes shut, and Herbert's got his mouth sewn up.
Yeah.
And this is because I guess they like uncovered, like they got punishment for their crimes, which were like speaking out. Against
I think it's one of those like, you know, like Odin's eyes things, like they had to lose a sense because they've gained this truth. All that said, like, she's not getting those eye back. You can take that shit off Herbert.
Yeah, you can just like cut out, open the mouth.
Just drinking through a straw.
And she kind of tells him like the
deep truth.
Yeah, the deep truth about the world. Right?
Yeah. It's not that much of a deep truth. What is it? It's just that he comes from pigs, right? What is it? I'm so sorry. How do I tell you about this? Your birth had little to do with the natural way of things. Right. The cardinal scientists had meddled with nature. You would have been a man like any other man. So I guess the green goo that they're putting into the pigs, they're making some kind of serum. We'll see a little bit more of this process later, but they want to create slaves, like malleable men. So he's just a guy. He's just a guy, but he's had this stuff injected, and now he's a pig man. That's the dark truth.
So they're turning people they're breeding a race of pig men to be like the working class of this like
Whoa.
Right?
Whoa, that's me, bro.
It's literally me. But about this character, to Mueller, a good one, right? Mueller said that the character Mary was based on his 9th grade English teacher, Mrs. Christian, who gave him 1984 and Animal Farm. Ironically, that was required reading back in 1984, which is it's funny because like I mean it's cool like, but this is one of those ones too where it's like, oh, like you've only read like 2 books like in your entire life. Like, it's like the people that say it's like, oh man, Catcher in the Rye is my favorite book.
Yeah.
When did you read it? When I was 13 and only one time since then.
You just gotta really understand it, you know. You can just keep reading the same book, you know.
But I feel like it's like this doesn't like obviously this is like these books are something that like he attached to and like mean a lot to him, but it doesn't feel it feels very like sincere, you know what I mean? Like I think he has like a good like he subverts it enough like that like it's its own thing for sure. It's not like a total rip.
So she's explained about his condition. And then Herbert, take our dear Oink for a walk. Let him digest all of this. So much Oink not understand. We have been saving some cheese for a special occasion. When you return, we will indulge ourselves. Herbert says. So they go out for a walk. They're kind of gazing out a balcony. This is Oink's Ricky Bobby has to go and think about his entire life moment. Herbert's a great listener. From the time of their birth, those piggies were food and they didn't even know it. Food for a machine they thought was going to take care of them. I will seek my own truths, Herbert. He's looking off into this foggy, like, fucked up Gothic landscape. So this be heaven, Herbert says.
Yeah, I feel like, is it kind of implied, too, that, like, Oink is getting smarter throughout this thing?
Yeah.
Because, like, at first, he's, like, he can barely form sentences, and then, like, by the time, because also, too, like, the beginning of this, like, he speaks a lot differently when he's, like, in jail and stuff, too. And, I mean, we could talk a little bit what happens later, too, in the second arc. But, yeah, this one, he's kind of, like, a lot of philosophizing about, like, he's structures of power and everything like that.
He's waking up. He's noticing.
Yeah.
Okay, cut that. Who makes all these comic books? He smells smoke. He's having this, like, he has a 2-second reprieve from terror. They have taken out they've taken out the tracker. I don't know how they found them, but the angels did find them. They burned fucking Mary to death. They come back. They've been gone 2 minutes or something like that. They've been gone 1 monologue's worth. Mary is a skeleton with no arms, chained to a chair with an arrow through her chest. It's a little bit of overkill.
The fucking angels got to her while they were having a nice moment outside on the balcony.
They leave a paper in the arrow in her chest. God knows, I don't really know what it says. It doesn't even say what it says. I don't know. It's an invitation. The angels will not stop till they find me. They will hunt me down. Before they kill me, I will make sure there be no more like me. Herbert, can you show Ink where he was born? What does Herbert say?
So like this is the last issue 3. Oink and Herbert setting off to go to the birthing factory where Oink and all of the pig people are made, right? The last chapter 3 called Pigs.
Whoa. Cool. I mean, this one, do you think he actually painted this? This just looks like a photograph.
Yeah.
It's almost definitely a photograph.
Yeah.
It's like whatever they fucking do to pigs after they kill them, that like totally like there's what's the word for complete desanguine or something like that, when you get rid of all the blood. I'm almost positive there's a photo. It's just like the corpse of a like a looks like a baby pig, like completely bleached. It's very spooky.
Yeah. And we get this kind of like this little scene, like that cover goes into like a panel of like a pig's head on a plate, and like the cardinal talking to is Cardinal Bakar talking to one of like the clergymen about Oink, and he's like, yeah, Mary probably told him all these secrets, so now we know where he's going.
My lord, the prisoner.
Yeah. I really like, dude, like this the last panel of that scene is like the cardinal yelling at this dude, and he looks so sad. Like he looks so sad. Like
It's like, and no carrots for Christmas.
Oh no! I do kind of love the like
grovelly.
Yeah, or just like the main bad guy being really mean to the subordinates. It's like it's kind of a kick the dog moment, but just also more like these are all bad guys. Like everybody's like
Bob Cratchit looking ass. His failure is your own, Warden. I suggest you help him in any way you can.
I really like that we get a cool like Oink and Herbert like on a rooftop across from the birthing factory, and then they go in very like special ops. There's a super cool layout of Oink. Like we see his axe in like a series of panels. As it's like spinning through the air, and then like the bottom panel is just like the axe going into one of the.
Yeah, I've never seen that where like the panels are kind of dynamic also.
Yeah,
it's just it's a very cool trick. I've never seen that before. Like there's been a lot of sharp objects thrown into heads in comic history, but this is like, it's innovative. It's nice.
And then we get, I mean, this came out in 1992. I don't know if it was different in the original, but like literally a scene from The Matrix.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, because like that's what's weird and kind of threw me too with this one is like the technology is very like industrial, but then like you get to this part and it's straight Matrix sci-fi.
Yeah.
They're in like these test tube sci-fi fucking.
Yeah, it's the pods from the Matrix, except they're green tinted and more industrial, and instead of like people in them, it's like.
Yeah, well, it is people, right? It's pregnant ladies.
Yeah.
Pregnant ladies being injected with the green juice.
Yeah.
I guess that they were injecting and pulling out of the pigs.
Big green vats of pigs above them. So I guess like you fuck with the pigs, and then the juice goes into the pigs and becomes pig juice. The pig juice goes into the ladies, and then you get your pig men. It doesn't matter.
So Oink and Herbert start trying to free one of the people here. And Judas and the angels like roll up right behind them, and we get like a final fight with the angels. Super cool panel. I feel like Mueller spent a lot of time on this one panel of Herbert crushing one of the angels' heads.
Very cool.
Super cool. We get him
rips his fucking head off.
Yeah, great guts in this one.
Great guts. Yeah.
That's the thing too. Is like I don't know, like God Killer was grosser to me just because it felt grimier and dirtier. This one's like fun to look at just because it's like the art's so good. Like it's really it does have like that classic like fantasy sci-fi artist thing, like almost like Geigery, where it's like gross and off-putting, but it's like so like craft-wise really nice to look at that it's like
guts are just they're just sloppy enough to be like, oh, that's so violent, but it's not like you don't feel like you don't it doesn't make you think of getting hurt when you see it. It's a fun ride until Herbert gets shot in the head. I did felt that straight in the heart. His big frown on his face with his stitched up lips, he's making a big frown. Next panel, hole in his head looking up in the distance. Next panel, he's kind of falling. That's also a cool little he chooses the moments very well. I really like his paneling.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely an improvement from like the original print, because the new one is definitely like an upgrade in terms of like storytelling and paneling. Yeah. Like the art's different, but it is like it's still really, really good.
And you can see how he would be fucking fantastic as an art director. Like like it's super dynamic. Like if he was storyboarding something, like he can like really get a feel for something in just a couple panels and make it interesting. He's probably making $1 million, but he is working at Blizzard, so maybe not.
And like so after Herbert gets killed, we get like a sick. This is so like Die Hard. Just like the smoke. Like Judas is Hans Gruber, and then like Oink is John McClane coming out of like the shadows, blasting him with the fucking.
What's the action line down there? Oh yeah, you can completely see it in a movie. He's got his arm up high. He's looking for him. He's like in the smoke. He doesn't know where he is. Read the action line at the end there.
So Judas is walking through the smoke. He's like, he's talking about his mother, like Oink, the woman in the pod, and he says, she's maggot food by now. These girls don't last too long. Where'd you run to, Piggy? And then Oink, you see him come out of the shadows. Didn't run nowhere, and he blasts him in the back of the head with a shot-off shotgun.
The halo is in pieces behind it. Aerial symbology.
Total Iron Maiden cover. Just like I love that panel where it's just like the boom coming out. So good.
We run into our groveler again. Judas, are you there? May our Savior find mercy in his heart for us. Fucking Oink comes, picks him up. Where be Bakar? Where is he? Immediately sells him out. He was too mean. That's why you gotta be nice to your guys, dude. The tallest spire in heaven. You will find him there. Please spare me. I did nothing wrong. Sets him on fire.
He's just like, bro, all these priests gotta burn. Take them down.
Spare you. This I will not do. Ooh, I was getting a little Jamaican there. Almost went into it. Oh, yeah. Walking towards the camera, panel by panel. Herbert, I be sorry. You can totally see a teenage kid with incredible gifts, like putting this in and just having seen a ton of fucking movies. But you can steal from movies. Like, you can keep those beats. Like, comic book's a different medium, but if you want to make movie beats and put them in your comic, do it like this. Yeah. This is a ton of fun.
I feel like that's the thing. It is, like, very tropey and, like, straight. But it's, like, it's a good ride. Like, it hits all of them. It's tight, and it moves really well. And then, so Oink hunts down Bakar in, like, the biggest, like, basilica fucking chapel thing.
Chapel spire. He jumps through one more wall.
We gotta bust through one more wall.
Bakar, I come for you. Bakar is, you'll never guess this, staring out a window.
Yeah.
I think the city is burning. I think he's like set something in action here. He's looking there. He's watching the city burn. It's very Emperor Palpatine. Your kind was meant to be a simple plan, and now heaven burns because we lost our way. You are his anger, his fury. Yeah, it's one of those little strike me down. Can you not see the providence in what has occurred? Can you not see the light? The next panel is a close-up on his eyes, kind of like the first one that we saw, like him looking through the door.
Oink,
And what's the panel after that?
He says, "I will show you the light," and he tosses him out the fucking window. This literally looks like, I don't know if people know the fucking Magic the Gathering card called Defenestrate, and it's literally throwing somebody out of a window.
Defend? What is it?
Defenestrate.
Defenestrate. We're gonna take a quick break to.
And that literally means to throw somebody out of a window, and it's literally, and it's just this. This is totally what it looked.
Oh, it's just that. That's so funny.
So sick. I love it. It looks so good.
He's lit from the bottom by the fire of the city burning. So, Oink is up there in shadow, still in the window, and he's like well lit red, falling into the flames. So cool.
And then we get, Oink stepping up to the edge of the window, looking down. He's lit by like the fiery city. Yeah. And then we get a little bit more big splash of him watching the city burn and like philosophizing again.
The gears which had ground so many to dust had finally sputtered and stopped. He's very eloquent. He just doesn't know how to not say da.
Yeah.
Mary told me.
We get his final monologue is him talking about he leaves and to wander the desert. Right?
Yeah, the apparently just outside of this city is like a huge dead grass field, and then outside of that there's giant trash heaps will kind of make encircle the city. There's like old like fighter jets crashed in it. Yeah. And the final panel of him, like in the past, is him in this like kind of Jesus cloth with a big staff standing on top of the mountain and or the mountain of trash and like looking over it.
Out at the desert, which is like the second part or whatever. Like the second arc is literally just Mad Max.
Yeah. That must have hit so fucking hard. I guess we just grew up with it, man. I think it's like Star Wars, where it's like, apparently just like 9 out of 10 artists just saw it and went, holy fucking shit. So sick. You just changed the whole game.
And we get a little epilogue right at the very end of Oink, just waxing poetic about his experience.
Yeah, we're back with the priest as his confession is over.
And like Oink kind of like gets him woke a little bit too.
Yeah, plants a seed.
Right before he is hung. By telephone poles.
Yeah, he's got a bag over his head. There's crows on him. And, that's, you didn't really kind of need to put that in there. I don't know. He's a kid. He wants to, he's got to make it dramatic. It's cool.
Let's talk a little bit about the second one. Like, we're not going to cover it now, but there was another 3 or 4 issues. The second arc, Oink, Blood and Circus.
Yeah. It is like Mad Max in that. Like
the second one gets wacky.
The second one gets it gets sillier, but also he finds himself in a similar situation to the first one. Mm-hmm. This one's just about cannibalism.
Yeah.
There's the immortal guy. Remember that? Yeah. I forgot about that. There's a guy that keeps growing limbs, and that's their
their food.
That's
Because
their
like
food
the whole
source, yeah.
thing, I guess, with like the city was like kind of, I guess,
Last
prosperous.
bastion, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the last thing of like civilization because there's no food, and that's why they were like
Eating pigs,
eating
yeah,
people,
yeah.
Soylent Green is people who were the pigs and type shit. Like,
Do you follow?
but it's really cool, super crazy. Like it gets super wacky in the second one. Like there's all like these like nasty like desert bondage cults, like cannibals and stuff like that.
The most amazing panel from the whole thing. It's just straight out of Mad Max. There's a guy with a small catapult launcher on his head.
Yeah,
and he wears it like a hat for like 6 pages, and you're like, when's he gonna do it? And then finally he's like at a face off against Oink, and he just hits the thing. He takes a fucking rock to the head, and he's out cold. It only works once, but
Yeah.
you got to shoot to kill.
The second one's a lot less about kind of. It's more about like what are people willing to do when like all society's falling apart. It's less about like anti-authoritarianism and like more about like the whole like cult of personality thing and stuff like that. Like the whole, I mean, it's run of the mill like post-apocalyptic stuff. But this one, I think,
he also meets John Wayne.
Yeah, or Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
yeah,
he meets
literally
Clint
looks
Eastwood,
exactly like Clint Eastwood.
Cowboy ass.
Yeah, just because of very, very Western vibes after this.
It's fun, but I think this one's just like so tight, and it just like is what it's about. It's
exactly
fun.
And I think that's why this one works so well. So what did you think about like it in general, like as a book, at least this first one?
I would say this comic is rage captured in art. It makes sense. I think I've said this a million times by now. This was made by a young man. There's an idealism to the way that Oink's fist sends people's jaws flying off the panel. From the comic's bleak beginning to its violent crescendo to the bittersweet ending, there's a fuck the state of the world energy that breathes life into this weird little comic. Not as a dig, but I don't think this comic is breaking any new ground as far as writing goes. Always happy to see a cool anti-fascist totalitarianism work. Anti-fascist
Totalitarianism?
Ethan, give me a minute. But the story here is mostly a vehicle for delivering page after page of gaslit, bone-crunching art. Probably would have had a similar experience if this was just a collected edition of his paintings with no narration. I mean that purely as the highest praise of his aesthetics. Nothing against this completely serviceable writing. I think that is true. In interviews, John Mueller says that the character of the butcher is based on his own dad, and the comic was an outlet for his feelings about fighting to leave his small town, as we've mentioned, and throw off the expectations that were being put on him. For that, the angsty comic book teenager in all of us says, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah. It's funny, too, like, we're talking about this after God Killer, because I feel like God Killer has a lot, like, similarly, like, theme-wise, and, like, his politics, or, like, what he's, like, trying to get across, but I feel like this one works in communicating that a lot better because it feels more personal. Because it is like a lot more straightforward. Because I think that's what we talked about too, like before with God Killer. Is like, okay, we see like there's a whole like revolution thing, but really it's all just mixed up in this like fucking alien like occult. There's too much lore with this, and even this like the little bit of lore they try to get in, like. But that's the thing. I feel like this guy is an artist before he's a writer more than anything. So like now he's doing Diablo, right? I'd say it like this. I guess there's what did you have to say about like his similaries to like Kirkman and like Battle Pope as like
I see that too. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
I think we had just covered it recently.
I think we were talking about
what I mean, I think it's so much easier to tie it into God Killer, like thematically, like it's very like fight the thing. I think was I saying similarities or maybe just contrast? Honestly,
well, I think too. Like,
let us know
as we like do more, like cover more things. We like draw different parallels because like this one too. It's like it's kind of like I guess like you were saying before. It's like a portfolio piece, and you could tell like this is something that he like really cared about. And like it is like I feel like it's pretty simple in like its story and like what it's trying to say, and I think in that way it works. And then like just the art is so good, like you could tell and he likes this still, like the fact that he went back and redid this.
I remember what the connection was. I do remember there is a connection there. Kirkman used Battle Pope as his launching pad, and then kind of like workshopped a lot of things. He thought that he thought he was going to be the Battle Pope guy, like that was going to be his spawn or something. And that turned into something very different that changed the world. It seems like all of these guys, similar to the last guy we were talking about, their online presence, like they're just trying a bunch of stuff. He made Big Pig Inc. He thought he was gonna be a comic book guy, and like he was working on a couple different things and maybe like taking it around. But without it, there's no way like the guys at Blizzard didn't look at this shit when they were deciding to hire him. Like this was very early on in his career. He put a fucking ton of effort into it. Like he tried to pour his personality, and I think he was making you know what? He's Robert Kirkman, but he didn't do it on purpose. I think he just really, really cared about this, and then it stands as its own as a huge testament to his talent.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too. I feel like he's more of like an art guy than he's a comic guy, and I think this was just one of those like art things, like the same way that like a lot of like writers in comics like go from like screenwriting or something like that to like writing other stuff.
Complete speculation, but I would guess where people said the panels are much harder to read in that first one, whether he was reading more comic books in between, or maybe he just like got better as an artist and like got into the theory and stuff. Like he sorts it out.
Yeah, even like in Blood and Circus, like I think it's better like storytelling wise, but like I feel like it's not like a detriment to the like to the actual like story. I think honestly like this is really cool as like a fun. This is one thing too, like we talked about before. Going into this, I thought it was gonna be like a 1-to-1 Animal Farm. Yeah. Like, and it's not. It's mostly aesthetic wise, especially with like the Orwellian stuff and like the like theme wise. It's very like straightforward. It's not as complicated as Animal Farm, which is a very short book anyways, but it's not playing with as many big ideas, and it takes a more just like like the aesthetics from it and the vibes, and like turns it into a very like hard, like honestly this would be a sick game.
Like,
hell this would be a dope fucking fun ass game. Like I think that would be really fun.
I think every time he almost got sucked down to like, oh, what if I could do more stuff on Animal Farm? He started thinking of his fucking guidance counselor. Yeah. He's like,
Like that's what's cool about this too, is that it is so personal, and like the closer we pulled it for like from his blog and stuff, even like Reddit stuff when this was republished, and he was talking about how he'd love to like revisit this because it's like he has all this other art stuff going, but this is like his like comic thing. Like this is like I feel like he may only do this comic ever, and it's only gonna be this that he's gonna come back to if he ever does do any more comic work again.
I wonder if you could like if you find him and you ask him about Diablo 4, like he could like there's like a goblin and he's like, actually this is my ex-wife.
But yeah, like it was super like it's personal, it's fun. Like I think the story is tight, and it's like. It's a fun ride, and it's a fun read. I think this is a lot more fun to read than God Killer. Which is like God Killer was rough, but like I get like this one is like it's tight and it's cool, and it's like has a lot of fun stuff in it. Now for our shout outs and recommendations, I guess for this one, since he didn't do any other work, I'll shout out some more other like anti-establishment kind of, I mean like similar to like God Killer, maybe like more punk but like more political, I guess. One thing I would say is definitely Free Planet by Aubrey Sitterson. I forget who the artist is, but yeah, Free Planet's awesome. Super like intergalactic space politics and stuff after a revolution. That one's really cool. And then also if you're looking for more, I guess, like straight Orwell adaptations, Animal Pound by Tom King is pretty good, where instead of it being a farm, it's a pound where all like the pets like take over and stuff like that. But that one's incredibly sad. It's very sad. Like all Tom King stuff. It's like it's like really good like writing, but then it's just insanely depressing.
Ain't nothing bad gonna happen today.
Yeah.
For mine, these might be a little dated by the time it comes out, but like, will they ever be dated? The absolute Superman, absolute Batman. I think they're at the exact right moment in time. They're playing with that like fucking anti-fascist rebellion, questioning power structure. Ideas. The absolute Superman is all of the cops are what's his fucking name? Justice Buster, whatever the fuck. Who's the guy? All the who they're all
DC guy? Peacemaker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In the new absolute Superman, all of the cops are Peacemaker. Superman is out here trying to dismantle and fighting the good fight. And as it's gone on, it's like he is more and more like, how do I like take this thing apart? Like, are my fist enough? Yeah. Also, we had the great luck of getting that absolute Batman annual, which I think will be remembered for like
Daniel
a long
Warren
time.
Johnson is my goat, dude. He has been doing a lot of really cool like covers and stuff, like for a lot of abolish ICE like type shit, like a lot of really cool. He had a nice like Transformers piece about like all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, it's comic books. Like, that's the thing. It's fucking comic books. It's the same thing as like people at the Oscars saying like, "Oh, donate to charity." But it's just like, it's cool. Like, it's cool to see at least people give a fuck. Yeah. You know, like the Ultimates too by Denise Camp is also very like revolutionary. I think in terms like just like theme wise, it's all about like fighting the power of the revolution.
We're I think when we first wrote this, we were at the stage of Tony Stark being like, my plan isn't working.
Oh, yeah.
When Luke Cage talks, I listen. Everyone just goes, yeah, you should have done that from the fucking beginning.
But yeah, like any other closing?
We're gonna start doing with no commitment to timeline, we will be we're starting to tell you what's going to come up next. You know, we're getting better and better. This is all getting ironed out, guys.
So this year is the 650th anniversary of Fantagraphics, a super dope publishing company that's been doing like a lot of, I mentioned a little bit before, like the indie alternative underground comics scene, and Fantagraphics has been like a staple for that. I didn't get into it much now with Kitchen Sink, but we'll talk a little bit more for the next episode about like kind of the more, I don't know, I guess like artsy side of like comic book stuff, like outside of like, because I mean even like Black Mask kind of sits in that like mainstream area. The like Fantagraphics is famous a lot more for like the whole like artsy graphic novel, comics as literature kind of thing. So like any comic that you've seen that's been on like in a New Yorker article or something like that is probably from like Fantagraphics.
And whenever we do touch back on Kitchen Sink, if there's members of the audience who are very into corporate espionage and weird comic book personalities with a touch of narcissism, the rise and fall of that publishing house actually is very, very, very interesting. And I hope we get back to it sometime. It's very petty.
I guess I'll close out with the author's note that John Mueller wrote. This came out in like the original printing. He wrote this in 1996 after this was published. He says, standing atop a chunk of the disassembled Berlin Wall, pissing out several quarts of fine Pilsner, I came to the realization that we are indeed in unique times of political and religious struggle throughout the world, and that our future is unsure and unset. Every moment of every day, folks go about their business and unknowingly stumble into the foggy future. Lumbering behind us is a sloppy, dirty, greasy giant that is our past. He's an ugly bastard, wouldn't you agree? Slavery and genocide jingle in the pockets like so much loose change. We chastise and condemn him for his acts from great lofty pillars of judgment God would be jealous of. What we fail to understand is that he is the greater sum of our parts. He is thousands of years old, and to him our cries for equality and freedom for all sound like the cooing of a small child, naive and idealistic. Our surreal efforts to create a sterile and non-offensive environment where political and religious dissidence is bagged in either paper or plastic is a cosmic joke only a being so large as he could understand. Imagine all this came to me as 3, maybe 9 quarts of Pilsner spilled out onto one of the most infamous edifices in all of history. In the near future, the jingoistic banter spewed forth from the various rights and lefts of the world will engulf our culture like the great deluge of old. If you listen carefully, you can be sure the giant is laughing.
Hell yeah. This has been another episode of Tales from the Gutters. Till next time, stay sloppy, greasy, dirty, folks.
Stay sloppy, greasy, and dirty.